and I'm a professor of neurobiology, also an ophthalmology. So what I'm basically
You want to know the biggest thing that's missing for people that are trying to emulate Andrew Huberman's morning routine? Understanding the why. He doesn't tell you just to take his carbon copy. Every single person is different, and he tries to make this clear, that his routine is optimized with a basic understanding of the why to his specific needs for his academic research, his daily life, his bodily needs. So the big why of all of this is our body's evolutionary needs fighting against the industrial, the technology, and the information revolution. All of this has to do with our circadian rhythm and letting our body naturally flow with minimum influence from outside things. Things like delaying caffeine, morning walks, introduction of light. Through everything you learn, there are multiple elements. There's the theory and the underlying history of why it became so. Then there's the application. And then there's the adaptation specifically to you. People are missing that adaptation piece. So that's what I want to talk about here. What Andrew Huberman has provided us, and then how I've adapted it over time, not just with his advice, but with all of these other people like Matthew Walker, David Sinclair, Peter Attia, Rhonda Patrick, and many others. I spent a lot of time working on my sleep routine, and I wake up anywhere from 5:45 in the morning to 6:30 in the morning without any alarm clock, and I start off every single morning for the past 8 years by walking my dog. It is dark as hell out, so I got no sunlight. But what I did get was a mile walk, got my heart pumping, and I can start my day.
So as far as light exposure, especially this time of year when it's dark out, I immediately turn on all the lights in any room that I'm in, and I open up all the windows. And something you'll notice is that in most of my house, I have very warm lights, especially during the night to keep the blue light minimal. And then in my office where I need to be the most alert when I'm working, it's a white, bright light. I also at my workstation have a little light that I shine right in my face in the early morning. And something pretty cool is I created this mobile workstation so when it's really nice out, I can sit outside and work and get as much of that sun as possible.
Then I come in, feed the pup first, and then I have my lovely concoction of athletic greens, which I've tried going on and off of them, and I just feel incredibly so much better when I'm having athletic greens. Emergency, which was by a physician's recommendation, just based on my daily schedule and how I'm constantly working out and destroying my body. Vitamin D for obvious reasons. I think we've heard so much about it. And then this morning, I actually added LMNT. I didn't even know I had it in my cupboard because of Andrew Huberman. Just testing out that hydration. And I avoid my phone like the plague until I absolutely have to. Then a new thing I've been trying to introduce is similar to what Andrew Huberman talked about of trying something that is mentally or physically taxing within the first 60 to 90 minutes of the day. And this is really hard for me, and it's journaling. So I've been using the Daily Stoic as my daily guide and going to the passage, reading it, understanding it, and then using Notion to actual journal and what it means to me. So I'm going to turn you guys off, journal for 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll get the rest of the day started.
Routine is the biggest part of all this. I, for example, work from home. I keep my schedule as if I'm going into an office. And when I do travel for work or have to go into the office, then it's easily adaptable to that and nothing else changes. Even my clothes. The only way I'm wearing a polo at home is because I'm working.
You might have noticed that I start my workday standing, and all this is to keep me as awake as possible. One really cool thing that I learned, and this actually was from another Andrew Huberman video, is I set my main monitor where I'm looking up. Looking down puts us to sleep. Looking up keeps us awake. It also apparently makes us more creative when we're looking up, and we want to be in a more spacious room. We want to be more productive in a more enclosed space. I got 10-foot ceilings in this room, so it's kind of a middle. That's how I set up my workstation. Another thing, I keep a foam roller under my desk to swing my feet, and this is to promote movement. This is what's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's all of the stuff you do in a day that actually burns calories that you don't realize you're doing. He also talks about the depth of work. So when you're actually working, how enveloped you can be and how productive you can be, and optimizing that is incredibly important. And there's 3 books. There's
Atomic Habits, Rework, and the 4-Hour Work Week. All of this has some sort of correlation to what's called batching, and that's what I do. I optimize how much work I can do within a given time, and the reason I learned this and really honed this craft is from my time working in a law firm. I felt so guilty taking people's money and charging by the hour that I had to maximize as much work output as I possibly could. So I work sometimes 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off, but in that time frame when I'm actually focused, I am working. And speaking of working, I gotta work. So we'll check in when it's caffeine time. Favorite part of the day, coffee time. I used to have a bit of a problem with coffee, some would say, drinking 12 to 16 cups a day. I was trying to work 40 hours a week, take a full course load in law school, carried over working 96-hour weeks at a law firm, and it got very unhealthy, and I actually had to go to a doctor, and I got off of it. Now, much more of a healthy habit, and it's limited to about 1 p.m. at the latest. I really water it down, and I have about 5 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, which gives me about 4 to 6 cups of coffee. I'm super caffeine adapted, but going back to the why of Andrew Huberman and his daily schedule and why we wait an hour and a half, 2 hours before we start drinking caffeine is letting our body naturally wake up. But there are still a lot of great health benefits of drinking caffeine, so I keep it in my diet, and I still love coffee. All right, second favorite part of the morning after coffee, feeding time. I intermittent fast for the sole purpose of caloric restriction, not any other reason. Andrew Huberman does talk about the benefits of it. I have read the studies. I have not seen anything definitive that it will 100% improve things like cognitive function. It's the only reason I do it is for caloric restriction. I eat between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and in the morning I do it when I can because I'm eating at 10:37 right now. Other things that Andrew Huberman talks about is that he likes to get a workout in the morning. I'm sure most of you are working that time and just can't leave and go work out. So I work out at noon. The reason, again, going back to the underlying why, is to keep our circadian rhythm in check and try to work out as early as possible. So for me, it's going to be lunchtime or at the latest, hopefully 4:30 p.m. What triggers melatonin in our bodies is that natural decrease in body temperature. At the end of the day, we're about 2 degrees less than we are at our hottest point throughout the day. So if you go work out later in the evening, you heat that body temperature up, which delays the production of melatonin and why you can't fall asleep. So I try to do it at lunch when I can, 4:30 at the latest, but I fit it in wherever I can, minimizing effect on my sleep because it's the most important thing that I try to focus on. So I'm gonna eat this, get back to work, and then wrap up the day with my third favorite, my workout. It is almost noon, which means the morning routine is about to be wrapped up. I hope by seeing how I've adapted Huberman's routine helps you adapt it in your own schedule. Wait, what the